You're listening to the Silver Lined Relaunch, and I'm your host, Hillary DeCesar, award-winning entrepreneur and transitional coach. Each week, I'll invite you to tune into inspirational stories, revealing how you too can turn ordinary experiences into the extraordinary. Feeling stuck? I'll share step-by-step strategies to fuel your ability to experience a life where silver linings are both abundant and possible. All right, everyone. Welcome back to this incredible episode. And this is near and dear to my heart because when you hear this, you're going to be like, oh my gosh, for so many of us, we don't really understand the basis around what my guest today is going to be talking about and how you can get involved, which is even more, interesting because there's always that challenge when you hear from somebody who's talking and you're like, well, wait, that sounds good for them, but how do I fit into this bigger equation? So today I'm excited. I have Stacy Cassio with me. And Stacy, I loved our last conversation. So I know that this is going to be just completely so cool for people to hear. But share a little bit for those that don't know about you. Share where you are today and what you're doing. That's so darn cool.
Yeah. So I am the founder and CEO of the Pink Mentor Network. And it has been an amazing journey for me as an entrepreneur over the last 4 years. I really started this whole mission out of my own need. I wanted a strong female mentor when I was in a male dominated industry. And I found that mentorship is this gray area that everybody seems to be looking for it, but nobody has a clear definition of what it is or how to access it. And how to build those relationships when it's not available to us inside the companies that we're working in. So I started this mission just to find mentorship. But then I realized there was a whole community of women who really wanted to either contribute in a way that wouldn't add a whole lot of relationships to their plate. They wanted to share everything they had accomplished in their career and how they learned it. They wanted to share the dirt, the mistakes, everything that made them who they were today. But they didn't necessarily have the bandwidth to take on a mentee. So we created a community where women could deposit what they've learned, but also take from it what they needed to grow and develop in their careers and businesses. And
Well,
from
I have to jump in because this is something that for 20 plus years, I remember being in the corporate world. I remember being, as you and I discussed, the token woman on the floor, right? In this Oracle high tech company where all of a sudden, I'm going into marketing around or trying to sell, I should say, manufacturing and financials. And I didn't have, there was nobody, virtually nobody, maybe I'm thinking now, maybe one person that I could go and say, hey, this is new. This is glass ceiling type of stuff here happening. How do I like brave the waters? And I love that, you kind of had a similar situation where the person that I was saying was there, she wasn't interested in like stepping into that mentorship role, right? It was still dog eat dog. It was still like, ugh. So for you, I know you said, but tell us more about like how did it really happen? When did you realize like, gosh, help, I need somebody that's like me that can help me get to that next level?
Yeah, so I have always used mentorship for career development. And I like to say that my resume is made of opportunities stolen. It's a little bit like a rap sheet of opportunities given to me by great mentors and sponsors. Many people saw something in me and gave me a shot before I saw it in myself. And it came to a point in my career, a couple decades into it, where those opportunities became fewer. Just as what you were saying, I think women, when we tend to enter places where there aren't a lot of us, see each other as competition. And so it was a real struggle, as I advanced through my career. And so the idea, again, came out of need. But the coolest piece of all of this is through the work in the community, we have been able to develop a brand new model for mentorship, which takes the relationship out of mentorship, sponsorship, allyship, and allows us to share our challenges and come up with collective solutions. It's a total game changer for the organizations that are using it.
Okay, I need to hear more about this because
Yeah.
I want you to hit upon on a couple things. One, the idea that in the past, a lot of times when there weren't a lot of women in there, it was a competitive environment. Do you believe that's changed today?
I am very hopeful about the next generation of female leaders. They are locking arms unlike any other time I've ever experienced in my career. It makes me really, really excited to see them have each other's back in the workplace. And I think that's really how we're going to make advancements. However, COVID brings in a new challenge for women. There's reports out now that about a third of moms are thinking about scaling back on their careers to take care of their families.
Mm.
And it is such an opportunity for us now, if you do feel you need to scale back on your career, to articulate to your employers what the pain points are, offer potential solutions that would work for you. Otherwise, we're going to miss our opportunity to shape the
Mm.
work that will work for the working mom. And it's really such a pivotal time,
Mm.
because we have, employers are feeling the pain as the women step away from the work. And so we have the opportunity now to change things for future generation of women.
So what I'm hearing you say is that, and I agree with you. I think that there's been this influx of women wanting to help other women. And I think that the walls that have been developed over all these years about kind of being competitive and being out there, we've realized as women that that doesn't serve us. That's not who we are. We are all about relationships. We are about supporting each other. I mean, this goes back to the caveman days, right? I mean, we were out there gathering together. It wasn't that, hey, Sally down on bush number 7, got the most amount of berries today. It was like pulling them all together. And I think that that is happening for us now. I see it with groups that I support. I see people coming together, even in the same industry, same business. Competitively, yeah, they would be going for the same client. But what I love is that these days, you realize that the person who is going to want to work with you and the person who's going to want to work with me or somebody else, there are enough of them to go around. There are, and that you're going to find where you belong. So when you said, really interesting about women now saying with COVID, hey, I'm thinking about not going back or not going back full time, but that we need to stand together, that we need to express what do we really need as a community, as the collective is what I always love to call them as well. How do we do that though? I mean, and I want to get back to the mentorship, but this is such a fascinating part of what you're saying is that it is the next notch, it's the next step forward for women in the collective.
Yeah, 100%. And I love what you were saying, because I do think that it comes down to, we need to switch our thoughts around the scarcity mindset to the abundance mindset.
Mm.
There is plenty to go around for all of us. There are plenty of opportunities right now for us to come together and solve these giant problems. I had a situation recently where a woman had told her female manager that the work isn't working for her right now because her kids were home from school, and she was a single mom. And the manager went to her boss and asked for some flexibility in the role. It wasn't possible. So the mom had to take a different job because flexibility wasn't available. Now, that has to change. If we're going to continue to support working moms, especially right now, we have to be able to create flexibility in the role. We also have to be able to provide support. So, what does that look like? Childcare. What does it look like for
Mm,
homeschooling? Does it change the type of work that we're doing?
mm,
I think it also changes our team dynamics, right? We have to, as women, give each other grace. That is
yeah.
something near and dear to my heart. I oftentimes will give other people more grace than myself. We also have to offer ourselves the grace to not be perfect all the time. We have to drop that guilt that we sometimes carry for not being able to do it all.
Yeah, you know what? I love this. And I'm laughing because for those that can actually hear what's happening in the background right now, my kids are making lunch. And I'm hearing them with the pots and pans. And even though I said, hey, I'm on I'm going to be doing a podcast, it's a different environment. It is a different environment, and we have to be when I have a great example. One of my coaches will all of a sudden bring her daughter into the call, and she's there because you know what, there's nobody else that can manage her. The husband's working, and you have to be a little bit more, as you said. I love that, being in grace, not just with the surrounding but with yourself. So powerful. One thing I would like to ask you is mentorship. For so many women, we haven't grown up with that mentorship mentality. You have. I've always looked for mentors, and I've always tried to do that giving back, and how could I help people. But I'll never forget, I was at a conference and I was actually one of the speakers, and I got up, and it was a room full of probably about 250 women. And I said, all right, who in here has a coach? And at this point, this may have been like 6 or 7 years ago. And only about 10% raised their hand.
Mm.
And then I said, who in here coaches or mentors somebody else? And then it dropped down to like maybe a few hands. And I know things have changed. I know that we now have realized the importance of that. But one, what do you think that change has been, where we now as women say, hey, yeah, I need a coach, I need a mentor. When did that happen, and how has that happened to the point now where I know the numbers have grown significantly?
Yeah, that's a question I get a lot, is what is the difference between a coach and a mentor?
Mm,
And for me, mentorship is learning from someone else's unfiltered experiences. So it's important for us as the seeker of mentorship to get clarity around what experiences we want to learn from. So it's very, very important. What do you want out of your business or your career? Where is it heading? Find someone who is already there. Ask them about their journey to get there. And you'll find some nuggets, some things that you can reverse engineer for yourself. But a coach will help us because they have a process of getting from where we are today to that destination. Now, it's a process, it's a plan, it's something you pay for. It's their that's what they know. A mentor is giving you just the down and dirty of what they lived. And I love the down and
mm.
dirty. I love learning what not to do as much as what to do. Um
I love how you just described this. This is exactly, and where some women think, oh, well, I have somebody that is mentoring me, I have an advisor, but you know, that's giving you like that experiential ability to say, yeah, I've been through, I've done it. I can help you circumnavigate like these tough waters that, yeah, you're going to have. When you're in the boardroom, or when you're trying to grow your business, or when you're trying to, move into a different area. Hey, been there, done that, seen the pitfalls, and they can help you avoid those.
Yeah, you're so right, Hillary. I always, when I'm talking to women who are looking for mentorship, say, before you ask for that coffee, get clarity around your vision. Because when we talk to folks who've already been where we want to go, and show up with our vision, they'll remember where we want to go. And when that opportunity presents itself, they'll bring you into the conversation. But it's super important that, not like a coach where you'll explain all the baggage that you've collected over the years, you're showing up with your vision with when you are introduced to a mentor so they can help you get to that next level. One of the other amazing things about mentorship is it could be a multiple assortment of people that help you get to that next thing. And in the community that we've created for mentorship, we've identified that there are six critical times in a woman's career, actually in any career or business, when you could use a mentor in order to get to that next level. And that's when we're starting, when we're growing, when we're becoming an expert, when we're innovating, when we're leading, and when we're just trying to survive. Like, you're going to need people to help you get to that next level. You're going to need their experiences. A mentor becomes a sponsor when they open the door for you. And that takes a little bit of relationship building. That takes a little bit of trust for them to know that when they open the door, you're going to take it from there. And I love, the relationship development that has to happen from those stages.
Ooh, okay. So I love the idea that you just said. When the sponsor is willing to open the door for any of those six, and again, you said when you're, the six critical times, one was when you're starting out, when you're growing, when you're becoming that expert in the area, when you're leading, surviving, and I think you said when
Innovation.
innovating. It's so true. There's different levels. It's like when I talk about, when you're first starting your business and you're truly at, zero. And then when you grow into that $50,000, revenue, then you go from 50 to the, hey, six figure, then you get into that 250 to 500, then you get into the seven figure, and you keep growing and growing. It's a different skill set. It's a
Yes.
different, and you do need to have different types of mentors to get you through those different levels. So, your organization, tell us more about that. Like, let's just say I'm coming in, I'm becoming a member of your organization, and what then happens?
Yeah, so there are two avenues to get involved. There is the B2C community, who are individuals looking for mentorship or to contribute to a community where their experiences become important to someone else. Then we have the B2B community, and it is organizations using this model of mentorship in order to help their support the women in the workforce, in order to build the leaders, in order to develop succession plans, in order to contribute to D&I initiatives. You can use this model for any outcome. That's the beauty of it. It's a
Mm.
framework for career development no matter where you are.
So what I'm hearing again is the business to consumer, business to business. If you have a company, and is this still good for solopreneurs? The
Yeah,
one man show,
of
and then
course,
it's and
we
then
need
it's
it the most.
okay. Just wanted to make sure that we're saying that out there. And then we also have the businesses that really have the teams inside the business and leveraging those. So give us a little bit more like, okay, what happens? Like, hey, I'm out there, I'm raising my hand, I'm saying, yeah, I'm in one of these six critical times. Some of us right now, I can look at this and I'm like, okay, I'm growing significantly. I'm becoming an expert in my own right. I'm doing a lot of these, and I really cross over. So would that mean that I need multiple, or do I have one that's been through it up to, a higher level? Tell me how you go about that.
Yeah, so the beauty of the program is that the community allows you to work through each category, these six categories,
Mm.
once per month. And we do two events. We do one, which is a master class. So it's someone who's already been through a critical time in their career and they're sharing their unfiltered experiences. But then we also have this incredible exchange. And it's this opportunity for members to share what they've learned, but also ask for what we need. That is something women just don't do
Mm.
enough. Ask for what you need. How many times do you hear that question, how can I help you? And you don't know how to answer it. We have to be able to answer that question. And in
Which
all,
goes back to your point about clarity. You have to
ex-
know where you are to be able to ask for how can I help you? Then you know because you understand where you are and where you're going.
yes, you're
Mm.
absolutely right, Hillary. But I will add this: there were many points in my career where I wasn't sure where I was going. I
Mm.
think we have to pause and give ourselves grace in those periods of time to do the discovery. It isn't that you're lost, it isn't that you're headed down the wrong path. It's just that you don't have enough data to make the next call. And so you're just at that point collecting, you're collecting new contacts, new information. That's the great thing about mentorship is you can learn from somebody's story and it might spark something inside you. And so, whenever someone comes to me and they're just not sure what's next in their career, I say always give yourself 6 months to discover. Try new places, try new things, introduce yourself to new people, and you never know
Mm.
where that's going to lead. And so, it's really a scavenger hunt. Life is about finding the places that you really feel committed to serving in, finding the people who make you tick, but it doesn't happen all at once. It's this long discovery process. And, as we're growing and changing, those things are going to also change. So
Mm.
it's just this like never ending cycle. And
Well, but I love the way you're saying, hey, we've got 6 critical times. And, if step one and the only step you're doing is just which one of the 6 are you in right now? Or which one, or, how many of these are you in right now?
right.
That's the first step. Boom. That's a great, great, like, hey, I am starting my business right now. I am looking to try to be an expert. I am trying to innovate. I mean, awesome. I love how you've broken this down. I think it's so great.
Thank you.
So when you enter into this world of mentorship and you come into this group, you're given all of the love that people at this point we all need right now. We need the support, we need that help, that guidance. Then do you get mapped to somebody? Tell us the process.
So this is a big misconception about mentorship that it needs to be a pairing. And that's why in traditional organizations or companies mentorship programs they always break down. I started to study that and I realized that when a mentorship program launches, it'll take 3 months before it fizzles because people get overwhelmed, people get busy, you don't have the bandwidth. It was a bad pairing to begin with. Somebody leaves the company, your mentor is all of a sudden gone. So it's not about pairing. It's about teaching folks the skills necessary to be a mentor, to be a sponsor. It's that give back that you were talking about before.
Mm.
How can I inventory my career and social capital and deposit it into others? And I honestly feel, Hillary, that is the meaning of life. If you are looking for a fulfilling life, it's that deposit into others that will be your legacy.
You are absolutely speaking my language because I agree. What you give, you get. And the more that you can give, the more you can serve. Oh, it's just a beautiful thing. All right. So I'm super fired up right now because one, before I met you, I didn't know that there were, I know that there's some, but they have a different, kind of angle to it. I love this. I think it is so fantastic. And I love that you make it so easy and you allow people. So, everybody who has a business right now who is listening to this should absolutely come on over. And can you tell us how do they even get in contact with you? How can they find you? Is there something coming up here? Or how can we get involved?
Yeah, I welcome everyone. I firmly believe that I've never met a woman I couldn't learn from.
Hmm.
And every woman has something in her life, in her career, that will benefit me going forward. And so to connect with us, you can become a member, and the website is pinkmentornetwork.com, or follow us on Instagram at Pink Mentor Network, and you'll be able to see when the next events are. This month we're working on innovation. Next month we conquer growth. And where are you getting ready to grow? Is it your brand? Is it your revenue? Is it your um, team? Like, it could be applied to anything. We just have to be really intentional about what's next for us. So I welcome everyone who wants to contribute to the conversation, and there's male allies and members are more than welcome. We need your support more than ever. And so
I agree.
um, I very much believe, men invented pantyhose and high heels and cosmetics and all these things to slow us down. So we have to create the things to keep us going. And this mentorship network will fill your cup. So
Oh, I love that.
yeah.
Okay, so we always do this at the end. It's called the rapid fire round. And yes, we could continue to talk. Hopefully, the conversation around mentorship continues over at the Pink Mentor Network. I know that I am going to be going over there for sure. I love everything about it. But I have a few rapid fire questions.
Do
Are
it.
you ready?
I'm ready. Let's do it.
Okay. Zoom calls dressed head to toe or waist up?
Waist up.
Me too. How often do you wash your hair?
Twice a week.
Okay. Favorite podcast besides this one?
Well, right now, and I don't know if it's just an escape, but I am into Dateline podcast for some weird reason. It's just always on in the background for some reason.
Okay. And then I love this beauty product. And do you have a name of it?
Oh, I love dry shampoo. I don't.
Ooh, what brand?
Oh, I don't know. I'd have to look.
Okay, you know what I have to say, dry shampoo is probably the number one answer right now that I get from most people. I know that I used it this morning, but right now I'm using it to cover my roots. It gives me a little bit longer. So for those that don't know the trick, use it if you're a blonde or dirty blonde. And then backyard barbecue or a shrinky cocktail party.
The cocktail party, actually, but it would probably just be because then I wouldn't have to do most of the work.
I love it. And then what is your go-to poolside beverage?
I really enjoy white wine, so I'm pretty simple. So the cocktail party would be simple also.
You'd be having your white wine. I
Yeah,
get it.
that's right.
Okay. And then this is a question I love throwing out there. What does a powerhouse of possibility mean to you?
Legacy. For me, the ability to impact lives and create ripple effects far beyond you'll ever really realize that you had that impact. But the the idea that I impacted lives while I was here and that I made a difference is the powerhouse move for me.
Oh, wow. With your Pink Mentor Network, you definitely are doing that. No
Thank
doubt.
you.
So, Stacy, thank you so much for being on today. And I'm excited to get over there, get involved, help out in whatever way, and also take advantage of, the next part in my business. So, super, super excited about what you've done and what you've created. And just like the last time we talked, this has been equally great. So, thank you for your time today. And I just wish you all of the greatness to come, and you are serving in such a powerful way.
Thank you very much. Thank you for the conversation and the opportunity.
Thank you so much for tuning in today. If you felt a connection to this episode of the Silverlined Relaunch, please head over to iTunes now. It would mean so much to me if you would leave a good review and help others find silver linings as well. And don't forget, you can have immediate access to all of the bonuses and notes from the show today in our treasure chest, which you have access to for free by texting 55444 and typing in treasure chest. Or you could go to our private Facebook group, The Relaunch Effect, Living a Life You Love. Together we've hit the reset button for you, turning your transitions into a transformation. Until next time, don't forget, there's always a silver lining.